Okay, we will call our meeting to order this evening. We want to welcome everybody here. At this time, our city clerk, Melissa, will take roll call.
Vice Mayor Doan,
Here.
Commissioner Swindell,
Here.
Commissioner York,
Here.
Mayor Van Oster,
Here.
and Commissioner Maples is absent this evening.
Okay. Next, we have our invocation, and this evening we have Pastor Mark Waits from the Solid Rock United Pentecostal Church to deliver our invocation. And we thank you for coming this evening.
Let's bow our heads tonight. Lord, your word says that man's heart devises his ways, but you, Lord, direct his steps. Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight. In our hearts, we can plan a course of action, but we pray tonight that you will establish the steps of this commission meeting. I pray that they will seek you for advice, and let us make the decisions based on not what we know, but let their decisions be based upon your wisdom. Please guide us, Lord. We place this commission meeting in your hands. We place our hearts and our minds in your hands. We ask this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Okay, next we will have a quick review of our agenda. Does anybody see anything that we need to add, change, etc. for this evening?
I did not, Mayor.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. If not, we will move on. First, we have our consent agenda, which does consist of 2 items. The first is our city commission meeting minutes from Tuesday, January 10th of 2023. And the second is our 2023 appropriation ordinance, number AO-23-02, in the amount of $5,067,508.04. Commissioner York, do you have anything to point out this evening?
So we had Ashburn Tree Expert Company for $10,223. Coffeyville Regional Medical Center. So the biggest piece of this was their half-cent or their sales tax distribution. It was $87,580. Cross Discipline Engineering, $19,644. This is for substation upgrade. Fleet Fuels, $18,226. Grand River Dam Authority, $3,935,044. Hawkins Incorporated, this is for chemicals for water treatment, $16,975. Hubbard and Associates for Interpool maintenance, $14,192. Kansas Employment Security Fund, $11,654. KMGA Gas Supply Operating Fund, $276,930. The Republic Trash Service for our residential service, $36,502. Southwest Power Administration for energy purchase, $10,972. Tantalus Systems, this is part of the AMI project, $21,169. Technobus Incorporated, this was for a bus duct replacement, $45,413. UMB Bank, which is our credit card, $11,811. And then our payroll of $423,136.
Okay. Do any of the rest of you have anything to point out or questions? Okay. If not, I will move to approve items 1 and 2 of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner York to approve items 1 and 2 of the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner Swindell,
Aye.
Commissioner York,
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on, next we have comments from the public. Any citizen desiring to address the commission shall be recognized, advance to the podium, state his or her name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by the vote of the majority of the commission. The commission does not hear matters involving litigation or city personnel. The commission does not take action on subjects not on the agenda unless unusual or hardship conditions exist. Citizens may address the commission on agenda items as they are brought to the floor. Do we have anybody here this evening? Okay, if not, we will move on to our regular agenda items. First, we have public hearings, special presentations, and proclamations. Tonight, under special presentations, we have the City of Coffeyville 2022 Service Awards. Our Director of Human Resources, Allison Pryor, is here this evening to present these service awards. I want to bring out, we have 14 awards up for tonight, ranging anywhere from 10 to 30 years. And I believe that is a great testimony of our employees and what their longevity to the city and their commitment.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. This evening, I'm going to go over quickly all of those who are not able to be here with us. We have several that have been out sick. We have some employees who are on duty this evening. We have a few others who plan to be here but are out maintaining our streets and making sure that we don't slide back home. From Fire Department, Mike O'Connor is receiving his award for 15 years of service. Pete Coracio is receiving his award for 30 years of service. From Public Service, Brady Smith is receiving his award for 10 years of service, and Jeff Howard his award for 25 years of service. Scott Lazenby, who's the Director of Golf, is unable to be here this evening, and he's receiving his award for 10 years of service. From Electric Generation, Brad Yapel is receiving his award for 10 years of service. James Potter, an award for 20 years of service, and Bob Robbins for 25 years of service. Now then, Mayor, would you like to give the awards to department heads?
Sure.
Okay. I'll get you in place and give you these. And then Chief of Police Quinn Bromley is here to give awards out to the police officers. So we'll do police first and then we'll do both of those.
Okay. All right. This evening, I am happy to present Chris Felix.
We're going to do
IT.
those next.
Is he here?
We're going to do police first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
All right.
I need to pay attention.
Sorry, I tricked you. So the first one is Tyler Hagabush, who served 10 years on the police force. And then Justin Hannigan. Justin has served 15 years with the police force.
Thank you.
And third, Lucas Vargas, who has also served 15 years with the police force. Darren Daly is unable to be with us tonight, and Darren has served 25 years with the police force.
Accepting his award will be me.
Yeah.
Very good.
Are you going to give your speech as well, too?
You're welcome. If you want to hold on just a second, we'll give you an opportunity to take pictures as a family if you would like, and then we'll move to the department heads.
Okay, this evening I am happy to present Shane George. See here, there he is, for his award. Shane has been with the wastewater treatment, and this is your 25-year service award. We thank you very much. Appreciate it very much. Next, IT department, we have Chris Felix. Chris has been with us for 15 years. And we are very happy to present this service award to you. Thank you, Chris, very much.
So if anyone would like to take pictures with your family members who are here, or with Quinn, feel free to do that at this time. And then I know typically most of you all don't intend to stay for the whole meeting, so we'll let you clear out before we move on to the rest of the agenda items.
I'll be the first to lead the way.
Your hand is a massive.
Thank you all for your service. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That cleared the room. Yeah.
That sure did.
Yes.
All right. Next, we have old business, of which we have none, so we will now move on to new business. The first item is Resolution R-23-01, which is a resolution to implement a personnel memorandum of agreement with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, AFL-CIO, Local Number 1523. This will be effective January 1st, 2023 through December 31st of 2023. Our Director of Human Resources, Allison Pryor, will make comments.
Good evening again, Mayor and Commissioners. The city has completed negotiations with the IBEW, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Number 1523, and as you said, this agreement covers this entire calendar year from January 1 through December 31. A summary of changes to the contract was attached to your agenda item, and that should be the grand total of all the changes are represented there. Negotiations for the following year for 2024 will not begin until July of this year. If you have any questions about the summary of changes, I would be happy to try to answer those for you.
And thank you for summarizing changes, even though it's quite a big document.
It is.
And you had them pointed out in there, but this helps a lot when
Yes.
going over everything that we needed to go over with for tonight. And thank you for all your work in working with IBEW to get this taken care of. Does anybody have any questions?
So does this complete all negotiations for this year?
It does not. We have one more, and that would be the police union, the FOP. And we're hopeful that soon all of their questions will be answered and we'll be ready to present that one as well.
Okay.
Okay.
If we don't have any further, I move to approve Resolution R-23-01 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Doan, seconded by Commissioner York to approve Resolution R-23-01 as presented. Commissioner York,
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan,
Aye.
Commissioner Swindell.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Allison.
Thank you, Allison.
Okay, next we have Resolution R-23-02, which is a resolution to approve submission of an airport capital improvement plan to the FAA. Our Director of Engineering Services, Thomas Osborne, will make comments.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Each year, we do a plan to update that we send into the FAA to just kind of update the direction and the needs of the airport. This also applies towards each year we get $150,000 in entitlement funds. Those funds can be banked up to 4 years for a $600,000 project. Other than those entitlement fund projects, it also puts us in the running for potentially larger projects that would be with the discretionary funds from the FAA. So this year, we are submitting to repave the 1735 runway. It would not be until 2025 is the year, fiscal year that we have that in on the 5-year plan. The FAA has deemed that we no longer need a 100-foot wide runway, and so they will only participate on 75 feet. And so we are proposing a mill and overlay for that 75 feet with the other 12 and a half feet either side to be a seal coat potentially, just to maintain and keep our width but we'd have to maintain that part with city funds. So that's what is in the ACIP that we're submitting to FAA. We are still having issues, and they've known about it for a while, and they're not sure. It's a whole new program, so everything's done electronically and online, and neither Jared nor I can actually log on to the website right now. So we will get these submitted as soon as possible. They know about our problems and why we haven't got them submitted, so we'll get those put in. But like I said, that's kind of how the FAA hands out grant monies. So that's why we're putting them in. This does not obligate, so when 2025 comes up and our project comes up, it doesn't say that we have to do it if the funds aren't available at that time. It's just, this is kind of where we're looking. In fact, if you remember last year, this same project only, at that time FAA covered the whole 100-foot, was on for 2024. So we kind of keep it about 2 years out, just saying, hey, we need to do this, but we don't have the funds currently. So that's kind of where that is. You happy to answer any questions?
And
Do we
remind
ha-
me, don't we share sometimes or
So
explain that, so,
if we have additional discretionary, or just lost my thread. But if we have additional funds in those entitlement funds, we sometimes, like, there's a project that needs another, $50,000 or something, and we have entitlement funds that are getting ready to go off the books, and so no longer, they just disappear basically. A lot of times the FAA will call us and contact us, and then we'll share that, our entitlement funds over to that airport, and to be able to do their project, so.
okay. That's what I thought I remembered. Okay. All right, thank you.
So we used to keep on the 5-year plan, we used to have like several plans in that. Do we still do that, or is it?
So FAA's changed everything. So they used to have a 5-year plan, and then a 10-year plan, and then a 20-year plan. So the only thing they track anymore is that 5-year plan. So
Okay.
that's, we still have, we keep a kind of a
Right, I
long-range
figured you did,
needs
yep.
that we do keep, but it doesn't get submitted to the FAA.
Okay.
But yeah.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, if not, I will move to approve Resolution R-23-02 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Vannister, seconded by Vice Mayor Doan to approve Resolution R-23-02 as presented. Mayor Vannister.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Commissioner Swindell.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Okay.
Tom's good.
Okay, you're going to do the next one too? Okay, all right. Tom's staying up here. Okay, next we have Resolution R-23-03, which is a resolution to authorize the execution of a quiet claim deed to 1904 South Wallet. Once again, our Director of Engineering Services, Thomas Osborne, will make comments.
Thank you again, Mayor and Commissioners. Matt would have been here, but he had another obligation that he had to take care of. He's been working with the family as well with Paul Kreitz on getting kind of this put together. This property is a property that was deeded to the city after I think it was a fire, and then we tore it down, but the house was demolished on the structure. The people, I can't remember it looks like Bustos's, they own the property right next door. They're putting money into that, fixing it up, and they're wanting to develop this other property as well here in the near future. The price that was negotiated is based on the appraised values through the county, how we've done several others. And then I'd be happy to try to answer any questions if I can. So I think they presented a kind of a proposal of kind of what they wanted to do in the staff reports. So.
Well, it looks like he wants to rebuild on that lot, so it's a good thing. Yep.
We get it back on the tax rolls, and
Yep.
then we don't have to maintain it, spend the
That's right.
money to maintain it anymore either. So
I might
that's-
mention to the commission that we do have, or had in the past, there's interest in in property that the city owns. It is one of those that if it's for individual development, we usually try to negotiate, if not a very minimal amount.
Right.
If it's a developer type situation, then we try to obtain
Fair market.
fair market value.
Right.
So just wanted this, he's developing his own, and that's how we go in the future. is, for the public to know. That's our interest. If they have interested to do something themselves, we'll really work with them in trying to get that at a least cost.
All right, great. Okay, any further questions?
Mayor, if there are no other questions, I'll move to approve Resolution R2303 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner York, seconded by Mayor Van Oster to approve Resolution R-23-03 as presented. Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Commissioner Swindell.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Thomas,
Thomas.
appreciate it. Okay, moving on. We have Resolution R-23-04, which is a resolution to approve housing and community development programs from the 40% portion of the half-cent sales tax for fiscal year 2023. A, we have new construction single-family housing incentive program. B, we have the new construction multifamily housing incentive program. C, we have a first-time homebuyer incentive program. D, we have the seniors assistance programs, which consist of weatherization and home security program for the senior citizens and disabled. And we also have emergency home repair assistance under that for the senior citizens and disabled. And then E, we have the USDA programs. This evening, we have our Director of Housing, Charla Brown, and USDA Group Coordinator, Rebecca Goff, will make comments.
Mayor, Commissioners. I'd like to start out before the presentation, and we'll go through this, is just a brief history. In November of 2021, what you see before you is the ballot question that was put before them. It did pass, and it came in effect October 1st of 2022. It is the collection of sales tax funds, usually runs two months behind. So our first collection was, for this program, was December, the end of December of this year. What the proposition to the voters is 40% is for housing and community development. There is 40% for community and park improvements, and then 20% for historic downtown. I just wanted to preface that this is what we'll be discussing tonight, that what we've told the voters and what we are doing. They entrusted us by voting that and passing that. So we'll start off, and Charla and Rebecca will explain the programs in the 40% of housing and community development. So I'll let you guys have it.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay. The first program is the new construction single-family housing incentive program. For this program, we have $45,000 in the budget, of which there's a cap on each program. So for each application we receive, there is a $1,500 incentive, and each application is first come, first serve. So for the applications, they do have to comply with proper zoning regulations, and they have to meet the 2018 ICC building codes. They must be within the city limits of Coffeyville, and they're subject to yearly commission approval. With this also, it can be applied to our 523 USDA self-help housing program, so that's neat also. Rebecca will touch on that in a little bit. The next program is our new construction multifamily housing incentive program that we also have $45,000 in the budget for. That one will be $1,500 per unit. The units do have to be rental units. It's can be apartments, duplexes, triplexes. Coffeyville is a prime location for development just because of our population alone. It can be for HUD units, as you're aware, 72% of our workforce drive out of town to go home at night. We lost 90 of our apartments when CVR issued those Section 8 vouchers. I mean, we can build apartment complexes as much as we want to, so this is going to be a huge incentive for us. Again, they're subject to yearly commission approval, and they must be built within the city limits of Coffeyville. The next one is the first-time home buyer incentive program. That one is also a $45,000 incentive. That is $1,500 per home buyer. It's a 0% interest, 3-year loan. That only has to be repaid if the home is demolished or they sell it within the 3-year timeline. There are application requirements. The borrowers must qualify for a mortgage from a mortgage lender. It's for down payment or closing costs. Again, it must be within the city limits of Coffeyville, and it's subject to yearly commission approval. There are income limits to this. It's for 125% of the area median income. The area median income for the city of Coffeyville is $32,728. So 125%, for example, is for a family of 2. It is about $50,000. For a family of 4, it's a little bit over $65,000. So that's pretty good income limits. And then it must be owner occupied. It can't be for rental. So, Rebecca?
Okay, moving on to our senior programs. We have 2 of them, the Emergency Home Repair Program and the Weatherization Home Security Program. The qualifications for the 2 programs are the same. The applicants must be low to moderate income. They must be 65 years of age or older or permanently disabled. The applicant must own and occupy the home, and the home must be a single-family resident. Our yearly budget for this is $31,500. The Emergency Home Repair Program pays up to 100% of $1,500, and that's for emergency repairs such as broken appliances, electrical, plumbing, mechanical issues, correcting deteriorating structural damage, possibly putting in some rails or handicap ramps. Our weatherization and home security program also pays up to 100% up to $1,500, and it's used towards installing insulation, weather stripping, energy efficient windows and doors, security doors, security lighting, things of that nature. Our Paint the Town program has a yearly budget of $15,000. And each qualified applicant will receive up to $300 to use towards paint and supplies. To qualify for this program, the applicant needs to be low to moderate income. They must own and occupy their home, and the homes must be of single-family residence. We do plan on taking before and after pictures of all these programs, so that way yourselves and the community can see the difference that these programs are making. As you know, the USDA Mutual Self-Help Housing Program provides families with affordable home ownership. It teaches construction skills that they can later use whenever they own the home. It instills pride and a sense of ownership, and it promotes families with working together to create strong communities. Our yearly budget for this program is $45,000, and that will be used to support the program's incidental needs and also to buy buildable lots. However, as soon as an applicant is approved for a USDA home, the USDA will reimburse the city for those lots. I do want to mention that we are currently the only city in the state of Kansas that offers the USDA Mutual Self-Help Housing Program. We are very excited about it, and we do believe that it's going to have a huge impact on Coffeyville.
Absolutely.
And to recap, that is our budget, estimated budget for 2023. Rebecca and I are here to hopefully answer any questions you guys might have.
Just a couple of quick questions, Charlie. So on the new construction, single family, I think the incentive's actually $3,000 on that one. I think you said $1,500.
I did. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Oh, no problem.
Yep, it is 3,000.
Yeah. And then on the so if you do a duplex, is it a per door incentive? So if
It
it's a
is.
duplex, it would be at 3,000. If you're doing multiple
Correct.
units, it would be 1,500 per unit, correct?
Yes, up to 30
Okay.
units per
Yep.
year.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
On the multi-level, on the multifamily housing incentive, is these, will this all be Section 8 housing subsidized by the federal government rental, or is it going to be full pay?
They don't have to be Section
Yeah, it can be,
Correct, Mark?
right.
Okay,
Anybody that's new construction.
okay. So some of these apartments can be the landlord.
For
on
moderate
top.
income.
Correct.
Okay, so they're not, okay.
If he builds something new, he can apply for this now.
Right, but when he gets the federal money, does that dictate that X amount of apartments have to be subsidized?
That is, as long as it's new and provides housing to the local, that's what we're interested in, is the creation of units.
I know.
And that would be up to the builder to determine if they're going to make them Section 8 housing or not, and if they're wanting the federal funds for that. But it could be for anybody that wants to build rental spaces, right?
Okay.
So, but yeah. But it'd be up to the builder to determine if they want to make them Section 8 or not.
Well, I
So,
just
yeah.
know that a lot of times when you take state and federal money, there's.
Yep, there's strings attached, right? Yeah, yeah, yep.
To get that, and a lot of times they say that X amount of apartments gotta go to low income.
Yeah, they're generally LMI, so they're generally low to moderate
Yeah.
income attached, right? So,
But this
yep.
would not be, okay,
Yep,
this is a
yep.
different program.
That's a different program,
Thank you.
yep, yep. Especially with federal programs, they almost are always going to be for low to moderate income if you're getting incentives for them, so, yeah.
That's a good question. I should have
Yep.
clarified that.
Thank you, Mark, good question, yeah.
If there are no other questions, I ask the commission to approve Resolution R 2304, the Housing and Community Development Programs from 40% portion of the half-cent sales tax for fiscal year 2023 budget.
Okay. And just so everybody knows, we already have our first collection on the books for this. Each half-cent deal collected $87,055.39. So 40% of that already went towards the housing and economic development
Yes.
on the page, and that's 34,800. So
One
my thing is, you can see the money generated by the sales tax when people shop local. You're helping the community out in more than one way, and this housing program will be a great way, yes.
Just from an overall view, can you kind of touch on the process if somebody wanted to apply for those funds? What do they do?
Melissa is going to publish all that on the website. She's good at doing that quick
Sure.
whenever Mark says that we're good to go and we have time to kind of get that money in the reserves. So she has
we
all
are-
that ready.
Well, they'll do an advertising campaign. It is one of those, of course, all programs are pay as we go.
Yep.
But this is, the first year is always a struggle year, simply because, you're trying to collect funds and start all these programs. It is one of those, if the applicant's approved, as soon as those funds are there, they'll be available to them. We'll keep track of that, but by the end of the year, this budget, the $226,500, would be available. And the way it looks at the sales tax, that full amount would become available sooner than expected.
Yeah. A lot sooner.
Well, so housing's been a great need for our community for a number of years, and this is certainly a good step towards.
Mark
Yep.
and Thomas and Matt have done a huge thing in bringing it to our community, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further questions? If not, I will move to approve Resolution R-23-04 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner York to approve Resolution R-23-04 as presented. Commissioner Swindell,
Aye.
Commissioner York,
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster,
Aye.
and Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Rebecca.
Thank you very much. Yeah, if you'll just take the budget in mind of 226,000 and do the math with the sales tax, that's well over.
Absolutely. Yep.
And it's a great thing. Okay, we will now move on to Resolution R-23-05, which is a resolution to approve park improvements from the 40% portion of the half-cent sales tax for fiscal year 2023. This item is the Sycamore Park improvements for 2023, and our city manager, Mr. Mark Hall, will make comments on this.
Mayor, Commissioners, just for example, in Melissa, will you manipulate this? Because when it goes on TV, it looks different. But this is giving it an idea of how informative. We'll put this out in information, but you can see there's other programs that are going to be offered by housing. If you look down in the right-hand corner, that's the RHID. We're going to include that information for investors, and then, of course, they conducted a housing needs analysis. That has already been utilized in the MIH that the city submitted.
Yep.
They submitted it, and that is a requirement. It is one of those requirements of the RHID. There's other things available in housing, but it is one of those, we want to get that word out that it's one-stop shopping. We tried to, are going to in the future, expand that department and do some more things for housing, but we wanted to get out and show that. So that's just what that slide is that coming in 2023. I'll go through the next is ours, the Parks Board, and this is something that we do have a Parks and Trails master plan. And part of that is suggestion of funding. One of that is the sales tax was contained in that. There's other government programs, but this was the start, and that coordinate or goes well with our approach to housing in the future. It started with there, and what we have is this is why we need to improve this. It's just a statement that just sits there and says that parks are very important, not only for health, but can be enjoyed by everyone. It's not an age limit or a financial limit to enjoy parks. They're free to everyone. So it is important for the community. This is if you look, right here, these are two areas that are not served. Grace Park, which I think you're familiar with, what we did is looked at the city as a whole, and in that center circle there's not an existing park. So when we say in this that we're going to address 9 parks, there will be a new park in that area, and you can kind of see why. It's open, there's not anything. We'll probably partner with someone, be it a school or a church or that in that area, to put that park. And then the south, we have Grace Park, which if you went by, I would just say that's a green space with some old equipment in it. There will be, and you can see there's where Grace Park is, there will be the creation of a new South Park. So just giving you a little background. This is, and what we're here tonight is, this is our first. This is just our internal. I know they can be fancy, but we're not going to waste the money on the software. This is Sycamore Park. If you've been by there's 2 soccer goals, an old swing set, and that's pretty much it. Down on the one side you'll see is 4th Street is to your right, and 1st Street is to your left. There will be a connecting sidewalk, and you can see as it moves through, That sidewalk will be lit, and of course, the walk around, if you go 6 times around the rectangle, that is 1 mile. So in that, the soccer is already there, but it'll be more, the goals will be new. It's just giving an example. That's an official laid-in youth soccer size. So that can handle it. If you look up there, there's a bathroom. Each park will have a new bathroom. The other things out front in the park, you'll see playground equipment. It'll be to the top of the slide, and then to that line is a slide. Is a swing set up. Something right now, and we did receive a grant, and these things are coming in that people have interest. If you look at there, it's a youth fitness area. We have received a grant from the Beach Foundation, and that allows us to do more. We do have another party that's interested in the playground equipment and partnering with the city. So anytime we have a donation, and we will put amounts on that. If somebody would like to buy a bench and put that in the name of a loved one, or just their name, they can donate, and we'll go out and set that bench. I'll get into more of that of the program, but this is our first venture in 2023. So by December 31st of 2023, what you see will be done. And that is our mission. It's a pay-as-we-go, so we have to watch our funds. But like I said, we've already secured, it's roughly close to $9,000 from the Beach Foundation to go to fitness equipment. This is going to be actually outdoor fitness equipment.
Right.
This is, it's not just something that looks, fitness. This will actually be equipment. It'll be in that area, but that line going through there and around the rectangle is all a walking path that will be on a hard surface and going through the park. There will be a bridge, but I didn't show that, is because if you go from 4th Street, that third dot, between that third and that zag downward where it says Sycamore Park, there's a little creek area. And so we'll have to cross that. It's roughly about 27 feet wide. So we'll get that done, but letting you know what we're talking about is in the first year. This right here is North Park. That'll be the next year in 2024. The next year this is the new South Park. That'll be in 2025. This is Eldridge, and that will be in 2026. And you can see the improvements. This is LeClaire in 2027. And this is Harmon Park, which we are working to maybe do something that is good in partnering, but that's 2028. This is going to be the new Central. This will be in a Central when we partner or if we obtain the land. And then this is Walter Johnson. The next year, it is one of those, we do already have one of those already secured, but there will be more play areas and more shelters. Then you have in 2031 is you'll see this is where we're addressing Roosevelt Trail. This is in 2032 is the final year in which you see those are the improvements that you can see in Feaster Park. All of these are budgeted and it's based on pay as we go. It is one of those, there's more, the more we can do if we should collect more funds or receive donations, that's just more we can do. So we expect to do a lot more than what's presented there, but it does give us a budget to follow, and it is saying this is what we're going to put in. So tonight, it is for the first year of this, and this will be coming to the commission to ask for their approval each year for each park. What we want to do is these, because from anywhere from benches to that, your approval of the budget, the director of finance will pay for those items as we go, instead of, coming to you for a bench, coming to you for this. This gives us a budget, we'll follow that, and the finance director will authorize the purchase based on your approval of this budget and the allowance of the finance director to pay for what goes into the park. So, that's our first year. That's what we have tonight. It is one of those that Sycamore is our first, and so I'd be glad to answer any questions.
And once again, the 40%
Yes.
of what's collected of
Yes.
the 87 is $34,822. And you have a budget of $226,500. So if you take an average of what we've got collected and just use that for every month, you get over
Yes.
the double.
Yes. Yes.
So I'd like people to know that when you stay local, shop local, whatever, you're actually a part of all of
Yes.
this,
Absolutely.
contributing to make Coffeyville better and
Yes.
to do this part, just part of this. It's up to us, and if we do it, you're a part of it. So
A present every year for coffee.
Yeah.
yes, that's true. Okay.
I think it's also important, Mayor, to point out that out of that sales tax money, at least a third of that is from out-of-town folks coming through our
Yes,
community.
yes,
that
sir.
Help us pay for
Pay
these.
for
Yes.
these things. That is right.
Yep.
That's
Stop
right.
in and buy a candy bar.
Yep.
That's right. Okay. Any further questions? Okay, if not, I will move to approve Resolution R-23-05.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner York to approve Resolution R-23-05 as presented. Commissioner York,
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Done,
Aye.
Commissioner Swindell.
Aye.
Okay. Now moving on, we have Resolution R-23-06, which is a resolution to approve historic downtown programs, grants, and incentives from the 20% portion of the half-cent sales tax for fiscal year 2023. We have historic downtown rehabilitation grant and relocation incentive programs. That is A, and under that, we have mixed use development grant program, a facade improvement grant program, a construction improvement grant program, electrical improvement program, mechanical improvement grant program, plumbing improvement grant program, and relocation incentive program. Then we move on, the second item is B, that's the historic downtown grant. Once again, our city manager, Mark Hall, will make comments.
Mayor, Commissioners, just to give a little history of this and going forward, contained in the city has an economic development strategic plan in downtown is key to Coffeyville's success. This is we put this as the proposition before the voters. I think they felt also is wanting the city to actually step forward and do something to help downtown in moving that. So what we'll go through is it started, with an economic development strategic plan. And then what we have now is what has come up is this is envision the possibilities, is Coffeyville Historic Downtown Rehabilitation Grant Programs and Incentives. This would be, if commission approves, this would be distributed for downtown. It is a pay-as-you-go, and it is, and I'll explain how this works and comes together. It is one of those that these programs and that gives you a list. It is an attraction to Coffeyville that gives you the reasons why Coffeyville should invest in downtown. And it, like I said, this is key. It's involvement. We have a lot of heritage, and especially downtown. So these are things we should take advantage of. If you want to go see the Daltons, why not shop while you're seeing the Daltons? So that gives you a little history of the incentives and why it should be done. But these programs that are set up, they are based on a 50-50 match up to $5,000. One program can be chosen per year. So, give example is our mixed use. If they have a mixed use, what we'll look into, because there's other contained in that incentive information, there's other state incentives. And if they're looking at a mixed use, which is the upper stairs, Kansas has come out with the RHID, upper second story, and they actually did it with the idea of housing and creating housing. So in the mixed use, if the upstairs they qualify for that program, and is a state program that allows the roof, allows air conditioning and these things that we could merge with this and merge with that, and that has a payment life of up to 25 years, or the repayment, of the construction. So that's being talked about across the state, but that is an example where we can stack or layer these things with something that's already going on. This is an effort. It's not a cure-all, but it's the idea. If you want to do facade, I think in the near future we will come and talk about the awning downtown. We're getting very close on that and trying to get a date so that way we can do an informational, and line up where everybody is. But here's a facade. It is, like I say, up to a 50-50 match. It is if they spend $10,000, we go and we will do pictures. We will go do and inspect it, make sure it's done. They turn in their receipts. It's $10,000. They get $5,000 back. They spend $8,000. They get $4,000 back. It's a 50-50 match up. They spend $12,000. They'll still only get $5,000 back. But it's an effort to move things forward. That's the facade. You have construction, which was general. Electrical is self-explanatory, same as mechanical. That's your heat and air. Then we also allow plumbing. They can pick one of these, and what is based on each year is 22 buildings taking advantage of this each year. So it is, if not, if they don't need it, then those funds will remain in this fund for future use. And then we have plumbing, and then of course, now if you look at the very bottom, and I'm sorry for putting it down there, is if you have a business and they can, and this is a flat $5,000, you relocate to downtown, you and the owner, wherever you're renting from in this, and establish a downtown business and a presence, and you fill out the application, we will assist you by $5,000. No questions asked as far as is how you're going to spend it. You become a part of downtown and a merchant, we will help you with $5,000 making sure that you're there. So that's a good addition. And then of course this last is this historic downtown grant. The city commission, they'll go through the process at the same time as our budget. You've seen this, and now the request for funding. There will also be a part for this for request for funding. It is one of those that it has a budget fund of $50,000 per year. Our first year award, this will go in 2020-23. Our budget, during our budget in July, you have up to $50,000 to award, and you can see the requirements. It's basically a not-for-profit, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a 501c3. It is who you feel is not-for-profit. It is that those, we have some, they might not go through, but they're not-for-profit, and you have other organizations, but you have a case, the Midland, you have the Historical Society This is a benefit to downtown, as an attraction, and it goes through the same thing, the same process that sits there and says, this is a part of our town, and what you're doing attracts people down here. So that will be each year for the 10 years. Your first, like I said, it'll be awarded January of 2024. So you'll select, and then that award comes in January after the first day, because we do have to collect it. And like I say, by the end of the year, you've collected that, and then you'll award after January, just like you do at the request for funding. So anyway, this gives a total budget of $160,000, which is 20% of the half-cent sales tax collection. Of course, like as the mayor points out, that is moving, and these are things, is the more we collect, the more it allows us to do. In a perfect world, we will do everything for the city of Coffeyville, and then at the end of 10 years, we will have nothing left. And that is just our promise to them, is we will do as much as we can with what we have. So that's before you tonight. It's the same. It says that as we order equipment and benches, you would give authorization to the finance director to make those purchases, disperse the funds for those applicants that are approved and go through. And that will be with the assistance of Thomas and Matt. That's where the applications will be, the building. It all fits into one. They'll go in. The process is very simple, but they would go through that and then present the finance director. They would make sure that the receipts are there in explaining the program, and then when it came time, he would send an approval to the finance director to pay that up to $5,000. So that's the program.
All right. Any questions? And once again, that 20% of the 87, which amounts to 17,411, you average that a month for 12 months, and you're well over your $160,000 budget.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
once again, when people shop here, they are building this themselves.
That's the truth.
Yes.
I think also if you look at, on each one of these programs, so on this one, for example, $160,000, that's actually equal to 3 mills of property tax, right? So,
Yeah.
That the taxpayers don't have to bear.
It doesn't get assessed against properties, right? So.
No, and that is to sit there and say, by approving that, that gives us something to address downtown. And we get a third helping us raise that funds to do it.
Absolutely.
Great. Okay. Any further questions? Okay. If not, I will move to approve Resolution R-23-06 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Vice Mayor Dome, to approve Resolution R-23-06 as presented. Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Dome.
Aye.
Commissioner Swindell.
Aye.
And Commissioner York.
Thank you, Mark, for all that work on it. And it's
Staff-
very,
Rebecca?
Staff did it, and I'm just tickled it got passed, and Coffeyville's been through such things as floods and all these things, and I just want to say is Coffeyville is on its way. It deserves it, and it is one of those that it's just a great thing to say that there is a better tomorrow for Coffeyville.
okay. All right. That takes care of our new business for this evening. We now have our city manager's report.
Mayor, Commissioners, of course, we're all wondering what the snow will do tonight and whether it be slick. Just talking to the city staff, they're ready to go in. Of course, reports from Melissa that if you go a mile or two north of town, they're getting snow.
Yeah.
So it is one of those, we might miss out, but we do get moisture and that'll help out. Staff is starting off. We've got great plans for this year, and like I say, some of these funding, it is setting up with your approval. Like I said, we're going to have to order based on the grant that we received from the Beach Foundation, and we'll have a formal in that, but we're going to have to order that equipment. So that'll be the first project, because we said to the beach that we did basically a 50-50 match with the Beach Foundation, and we said it was for youth fitness equipment. This will be ages 13 and on up, so it'll be an adult use, but we've got to order that equipment already. So there's a lot of things that are going to be going on, especially during the winter from now on for the next 10 years. So I want to thank staff. They're all in on it. You have housing that wants to take those programs to a higher level. This downtown, it's so needed. It's so needed with the changes and that stuff, but Parks it's going to be for everyone, and I'm sorry. There's other cities, maybe even close by, they put all their eggs in one basket, and we're going to have, at the end result in 10 years, every child can walk to a park. And I think that's good. You don't have to sit there and worry and crossing highways and this stuff. Every child should be able to walk to a park. So I'm excited, and if there's any questions I can answer, I'd be glad to do those.
Okay, we will now move on to comments from commissioners and staff.
I did receive an email earlier this week wanting an update on where we're at with the old firehouse and with the damage to it. Can you speak to that? Or
It is, I don't have it off. There is an insurance question. We're moving forward. The thing is I guess settling out that where there's going to be weather permitting in this it'll be secured, because simply what we're getting is the contractors don't want to risk it falling while they're doing it.
right?
I think Matt is give kind of updates. If you look in your weekly update report, we want this done, and we wanted to get, there's the vehicle that's still in there, needs to be pulled out. But it is something that, as soon as that's done, it won't fix everything, but, that's where we'll have what will become the future, of the fire station. But it's just, and I don't know if Paul's been, but, we've had legal, this stuff, and we're close, but it is just a matter of time.
That's basically what I responded to this gentleman with, but I think it's
Yeah,
important
and
to
that
share
is,
with the
it's-
public where we're at with it, and,
Okay. Anybody else have anything for this evening? Okay. If not, then I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner York to adjourn. Can I see